Hello everypony, welcome to Midnight Readings. Yeah, sorry, last week I did not have the energy to do a comic dub. Partly because I left a bit too late. Whoopsies! However, I do have a story for this week. We will be reading The Wrong Side of History, written by Orbiting Kel. I hope you all enjoy. Why haven't I been attacked yet? I deserve it too! Twilight suppressed a pout and tried to stand straight and tall. Around her, royal guards were securing entrances to the ballroom, searching for more attackers, comforting the traumatized, scraping pies from the wall, and generally running around in a mild panic. Celestia stepped to her side and put a wing on her back. Why would you want to be involved? This is no laughing matter. Indeed it's not! It's an insult! That's what it is! Luna raised one of the pies the perpetrator hadn't had time to use and examined it closely. I remember quite well in the old times, assassins had manners, and good taste back then, and used daggers. That was proper fun, not... She catapulted the pie at the wall, scattering screaming guards. This? Celestia said with a thin smile. Luna, we talked about the meaning of the word fun. You're misusing it again. I am certainly not! With one foreleg, Luna grabbed a passing guard. With the other, she made a grand sweeping gesture. I would walk through the palace. An assassin would jump out of the shadows and stab me. The blade would break. I would laugh, he would laugh. I would throw him through the nearest window. She sighed and smiled. The guards squeaked. They knew how to do things properly. It was fun. Twilight stared at Luna, then looked up to Celestia, who shook her head, mouthing, "Don't encourage her." She looked at the panicking guard in the iron grip of the Night Princess and decided that it would be another entry for her already overflowing mental don't ask boulders. Celestia said, misguided ideas of my dear sister aside, as I was saying, this is nothing fun or desirable. I can't see why you would want to be involved in this whole situation. She stepped over to one of the sobbing guards hit by a stray shot of whipping cream and cleaned his muzzle with a napkin. It's... Twilight gestured wildly. You've been attacked 5 times this year alone. Cadence dodged 2 pies last month, and Shining Armor fought them at his birthday. Even Flurry Heart got a cupcake, and she can't really do much more than drool and destroy ancient artifacts of power. I admit that in the last case it was delivered with a little congratulations card and not thrown. But my point stands. I've had my crown for a while now. I fought ancient horrors and broken truces. I'm a princess too. And I want ponies to understand that. I deserve an attempt at my position, like every pony else. But this is not some kind of validation of your role, Twilight. Look, Luna hasn't been attacked either. Twilight glanced over at Luna, who was making stabbing motions and laughing in front of 2 cowering guards. She really wasn't sure when Luna had grabbed the second one. But it seemed that the budget for psychologists would have to be expanded. Again. She muttered under her breath, that kind of drives my point home. Celestia turned to her ex-pupil and asked, What? Nothing, Twilight sighed and sat down. Say, if it has nothing to do with the title, why exactly are there ponies throwing pies at royalty while screaming gloop gloop? I thought it was some kind of anti-monarch movement. Ha! We had real enemies of the crown back then. I remember when they poisoned our midnight snacks. I longed for centuries to find that spicy undertone again. Hush, Luna, and stop traumatizing the gods. Celestia turned away from her sister, who had added another armored Pegasus to her captive audience. You see, Twilight, the International Pastels and I go a long way back. Celestia sighed. It began with an argument between me and Le Gulbert. That was my chef back then, about the appropriate amount of vanilla ice cream near a piece of apple strudel. Then things went out of hoof. I made some unkind remark about the futility of the whole argument, how they were wasting my time, and about his and his staff competence. They swore a vendetta until I would apologize. That was 365 years ago. Wait, how does that involve Cadance? Things became more complex with time. It evolved, among other things, to a stance against arrogance and telling ponies how to do their jobs. They hit Chrysalis too, as far as I know. Twilight blinked. How? Well, Chrysalis sent me a long and ranting letter about it. No, not that. How did they hit Chrysalis? Oh, that we do not know. It seems they became Master of Disguise in the last few centuries. In my time, real Master of Disguise would pose as lamps on my nightstand for days before... Luna! Celestia stomped her hoof, cracking the granite floor. What? Would you please let me finish here? And what are you doing with the guards? Luna looked at the distressed pony in front of her, who was wearing a makeshift cloak made from a curtain, while pointing an ancient-looking dagger at a cross that was recently painted on Luna's own princelessly flank. Recreating some happy memories? Celestia sighed, and Luna pointed. Spoil sport. Twilight closed her eyes and rubbed a hoof on her temple, then looked up at Celestia. Are you telling me a sect of subversive confectioners, who are also Master of Disguise, is waging war upon you for an unfortunate comment you made? Celestia nodded. It's not that simple, but that's the gist of it. So if you apologize for that remark, then it's over? Celestia stood straight, iron in her voice, her mane ablaze. I don't negotiate with pastry terrorists. Twilight raised a hoof and opened her mouth to reply, but then shut it again. She studied the fierce determination of her old mentor, looked around at the pies clinging to the walls, then glanced at the impromptu rhetorication of the siege of the Stallion Guard, orchestrated by Luna. 3 reluctant members of the Royal Guard, 2 maids and a small dog with a paper crown. She slumped down and said, Maybe we should become a republic. The setting sun shone through the window of the bakery, flaming the newspaper in a warm light. A picture of Twilight was on the front page, below the title, Princess Twilight Sparkle declares century-old feud ridiculous and foolish. On a side column, a pundit rant about the scourge of out-of-context quotes. The mayor glanced at it briefly as she scooped a large glop of whipped cream and held it over the pie crust. She hesitated. How could it come to that? Why had Twilight, no, Princess Twilight, taken a stance? Why did it have to be the wrong one? They had had so much hope for her. She would have been the princess on the right side of history. There was no other way now. With a decisive gesture, the whipped cream landed in the pie crust, and Mrs. Cake took another scoop. A tear ran down her cheek as she whispered, Cloop, cloop. That was The Wrong Side of History. Written by Orbiting Kettle. I laughed at this one. I laughed a lot. I can imagine something like this happening when there's a princess who lives for centuries upon centuries. A single comment can affect all of history. And also, Luna being ridiculous as normal. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next week. Stay brony!